Soaring high like sparrows in the air. Gee whiz is dancing. We don't have a care from downtown Thunder to the paint they light. The Washington Wizards, we beam with pride.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 7 of the Wizards Pulse podcast. My name is Jeremy John, aka Suge Knight Shyamalan. I'm here with my co-host Wanza.
Yo, what's good? What's good? What's good? Got another win in the bag, man.
Oh, yes. Before we get to that, how's everything going with you?
Well, things have been straight. I was saying earlier before we started recording, me and my wife got back from Vegas for the first time over the weekend.
Okay.
That place is mud. It's crazy. And if you're a sports fan, especially Allegiant Stadium up close, it looks like a spaceship, bro. It's on a different level. They're building an NBA stadium out there with there's no official report if there's a team coming or not. They don't care. They're saying it's coming. We're building this stadium. Mavericks, whoever, they're saying somebody's coming. So it's crazy. Their baseball stadium, they're trying to build one of those too. It's wild out there for sports. Definitely go. I don't even gamble and had a good time. So I was mad I came back to this snow. Thank y'all for that. But aside from that piece and having to shovel at 12 a.m., I'm good, hype, excited for this next episode, man. But how you been, man? What you been up to?
Man, doing well. Yeah, dealing with this cold weather that we had here. Also throughout the this past weekend, was helping out at the 5th annual Big Bob Classic, which is a basketball high school showcase.
Nice.
To bring awareness to heart disease, run by Coach Jerry McFarland of the Washington Adventist University. And this is its 5th year. We're there, had some good schools there, local schools like Archbishop Carroll, Tacoma Academy, our alma mater.
Shout out.
Also the Severn School, Potomac School. They had Murray, but they also had Gillian Prep, which is a new prep school in the area. Apparently, the founders of the prep school have a AAU program based out of Florida that is actually pretty good, and they started a prep school here in Springfield, Virginia.
Okay.
So it was good quality basketball, some good players. Anthony Brown from Archbishop Carroll, who is committed to Vanderbilt. Those that may know or are familiar with Wale has a DC themed foam posits. I don't know. Have you seen that?
Oh yeah, they fly. Yeah.
Well, in the commercial, I believe it's a Foot Locker commercial. I believe the basketball player in that commercial is Anthony Brown. He is the point guard for Archbishop Carroll. I said, committed to Vanderbilt. Also, Marcus Ponder, who plays for Gillian Prep. He is committed to Florida State. He's really good. Has tremendous size, even for his age. Not only is he tall, not only is he chiseled, but he also has a very large wingspan.
There you go.
Was just dominating on both sides of the ball, offensively, defensively.
All right.
Has some criticism for him, but I think with age and with maturation, those are things that can definitely be adjusted. But it was really good. Really good basketball showcase. Most of the games were highly competitive. And it was a mix of, like I said, public school, private school, prep school, all in one space. So it was pretty good. That was my weekend when it came to basketball, or just my weekend period, to be honest.
Dope. Listen, well, they say there's something about this area for sure, something in the water, man. So I already know that the competition was serious out there.
Yeah, and the interesting thing that you bring that up, DeMatha had, and I can't remember the name, but they had a event this weekend at DeMatha with some more prominent high school basketball programs. There was the University of Maryland versus University of Michigan basketball game in College Park, and then there was also the Battle of the HUs, Howard versus Hampton, when it came to basketball. So there was a lot of basketball events going on. And one of the events that I guess it didn't happen here, but the Washington Wizards got a win on Sunday over the weekend.
Yeah. Turn up.
Got a win, 108-89 to the Indiana Pacers. The Wizards are now 4-20.
Yeah. See, you just made it sound so much worse, man.
Look, at one point we didn't know when we were getting our second win. One point, so now we're up to 4.
Doubled it up. I'm excited, man, because who knows what's coming next. A couple more wins down the line. Now after that, we're going to slow down. We have to slow down after that. We still got goals for this season, but no, I'm really hype about the quality of the win more than just the win itself. You remember last pod, I was talking about how there are some teams we should either compete with or at least be able to push them for a win every now and then. And the Pacers are one of those teams.
Exactly.
They completely blew us out the water a couple games ago. But now we're seeing when we lock in, when we're focused, and shout out, I'm telling you, I'm going to just go ahead and claim it now. I was the first one to call for Jameer Watkins. I was saying free Mir. They had him in the G League out there wasting time, getting cardio in. I had a feeling there's a potential point of attack guard there. He can play a little forward too. So it is, watch out, because I think his confidence is starting to grow. Not to mention Will too. We'll talk about that. But the defense was really stellar for the first time I can remember in years. And what I'm hearing is it's been more than 20 years since the Wizards had held a team to under 90. So,
wow.
Yeah, that in itself is something to just pause on and be like, wait a second. Like, what does this mean exactly? You know what I'm saying?
I understand that the pace of the NBA has gotten faster over the last 5 to 6 years. I understand that even 20 years ago, that you had teams like the Detroit Pistons who were really holding teams down to like 90 points a game. Yeah. I understand that. But for every team, I believe, in the league has probably had a game where their opponent only scored about 90 or less, at least one time.
Yeah.
Like they had a game where they just blew out the competition. The competition said, look, it's just not our night. Exactly. How is it that it takes 20 years for the Wizards to get this?
And you know what's wild? I was just thinking about it. Even the Whitman years, when we talked about good defense, we always talk about Whitman and when he was here and all that. Even those years, we weren't a great defensive team. If we really think about it, we hyped it a little bit because we have never played defense as a franchise. But even during those years when it spiked a little bit, it still wasn't like we were top of the league. So now I'm thinking back, like, how far does this go back where we haven't had a defense to brag about in DC? Like, this is crazy.
Yeah, man. So that's exciting news. Like I said, Wizards 108-89 versus Pacers. Leading scorer for the Washington Wizards, Marvin Bagley III.
Shout out to Bags.
Man, I understand that the 2018 NBA draft has Luka Doncic, who went third and was traded to the Dallas Mavericks. I understand that the Atlanta Hawks or the Dallas Mavericks selected Trae Young, traded him to Atlanta, part of the Luka trade. And I understand that DeAndre Ayton is who he is, a consummate 17-9 or 18-9 guy in his career. Marvin Bagley is the one that a lot of people will say he is a bust because of the expectations coming out of Duke, and he was good at Duke, or at least from the common basketball eye. He was someone that a lot of people thought he should be good. I know a lot of people have revisionist history and try to act like, I knew Luka was going to be Luka, when thought process back then was, how can we trust this European guard
when we see anybody? And
when we see this guy in DeAndre Ayton, who is the second coming of David Robinson
right.
in college here, and we see
Yeah.
Marvin Bagley at one of the best college programs ever. And so yeah, but Marvin Bagley has gotten the label of bust, and the Washington Wizards are bad. We said that they're 4-20, but Marvin Bagley, since he's been on this team, has actually played really well.
Yeah.
Since he's been traded from the Detroit Pistons last year, he has been playing really well, and especially when he starts, he is a 20-10 guy when he starts. So I'm happy for him. 20-14 on the game, on 9-for-14 from the field. Really well for that game. 18 points from CJ McCollum, 13 from Shaq Penny, and 14 points from Trey Johnson off the bench, and Will Riley dropped in 12 off the bench. And you mentioned a guy, Jameer Watkins.
Yep, I'm trying to tell you. They finally freed my boy. He put up, what was it, 15? Right, and
well, in that game too, but the previous game, 15.
The previous game too. Listen, this is a budding star right here in terms of his role on this team.
Okay,
you know in terms of his role, I'm not putting him in the All-Star game or nothing, but we have a legit defender off the bench who can hold his own. We haven't had that in a minute. You know what I'm saying? And so you bring back, and now news just came out. Breaking news: Sarr and Bill are back for next game against the Spurs. We're gonna need them probably. So I'm excited for that. Now you bring off Jameer. Well, instead of giving him the garbage time, give him meaningful minutes, and at a minimum, he's gonna be able to shut down the bench, the bench's best player on the other team. And so, like, this is something exciting that people need to lock in more. You see his development, and he gets doesn't get as much hype because he's a second round pick. But listen, when he first dropped the almost the summer league record for steals, that's when I was like, wait a second. Even in that group of talent, this is someone who has an eye for the ball, who cares about defense, who's committed to it. Because you get 7+ steals in a game, you decided from the jump, I'm trying to get some steals. I am committed to making an impact on this game. So I'm hype about Jameer. Everyone should be hype about him. A lot of people, I think, just dismissed him. And this is another check mark in the Will Dawkins category. Now, we're not saying, Jameer is going to be, just the next glove or something. But what I'm saying is a second round pick that can contribute and put up double-digit numbers is a big win where I'm from. That's a big win as a Wizards fan. And so let's see what he can do. Let's see if he can be a third major defender on this team.
Yes. And Skull talked about the Pacers real quick and talk about, I guess, the great defense that allowed these stat lines of the Pacers. Siakam, 33% from the field. Mathurin, 33% from the field. Andrew Nembhard, who I was told by some people on social media that Andrew Nembhard can be a face of a franchise, and even was told that Andrew Nembhard can be a better number one option than Jalen Green from the then Houston Rockets, now Phoenix Suns. Man, that was a wild time.
He's not that guy.
Andrew Nembhard, 3 for 14 for 21% from the field.
Yikes.
Your starting point guard, 3 for 14. Great defensive game for the Washington Wizards. And like you said, Alex Sarr returning to the lineup, Bilal Coulibaly returning to the lineup. I really hope that they can continue this run. Now, you did mention the next team that the Washington Wizards do play is the San Antonio Spurs, who were in the Emirates Cup semifinals, championship. Finals. They just fell short to the New York Knicks. So the next game is against San Antonio. Now, listen to the next 5 games. There's San Antonio at San Antonio tomorrow. Then at Memphis on Saturday,
Okay.
back home on Sunday for the Spurs again.
Oh boy. All right.
The Charlotte Hornets at Hornets on Tuesday, and then the 26th, the day after Christmas, Toronto. Those at home. Those are the next 5 games.
Yeah.
Next 5 games. What do you think the record is going to be for the Washington Wizards in the next 5 games?
I'm gonna be generous and say maybe 1-4 is what I'm seeing. I think a win is possible in there in 2 ways. One, I'm not fully sure what Memphis is doing. They're a little bit all over the place and inconsistent. So if we're hitting on it and they're slipping, it's possible. The other option, this Spurs team, they don't know how to win together yet. They haven't fully maximized their talent. The problem is they got so much talent they can just stumble into wins. But like they're gonna soon start to really get this together, figure out this 3-guard thing. I'm not fully sure all of them are gonna be there, to be honest. I'm talking about Castle, Peterson, and Fox. I don't know if they're all gonna stay there, but I do know like they're starting to figure out their spots. We got the shot maker, we got the defender, we got the all-around guard in Peterson, and the coach is starting to figure out where to play them. So they haven't mastered it yet, because I saw that in the NBA Cup game. They coming down the stretch, the Knicks were able to rely more on or lean more on their experience, right? They deeper playoff runs in the past few years. So you could see the Spurs lacking in that area, and they froze a little bit. So I'm just saying all that to say, if they mess up a whole lot, we have a chance to win one of those games against them. Most likely against Memphis, 0-5 wouldn't surprise me. I don't know though. Am I being too harsh? What you think, man?
You're not being harsh at all. 0-5 is very, very reasonable during the stretch, because even the Charlotte Hornets, I mean, they have some young pieces on there. LaMelo Ball, obviously. Brandon Miller, but Con Knipple, who is at this point the front runner for Rookie of the Year. Crazy. Who would have thought that Duke player would have been the front runner for Rookie of the Year?
Out of all of them.
so crazy. Yeah, man. It can be 0-5, and at best 1-5, because maybe we might get Charlotte. But Toronto's actually good right now. Or Toronto's winning games. I don't know if they're actually good per se for the long run, but they are winning games. Both San Antonio games, I don't think you're winning it. Wemby, I know he might be on this minute restriction. But he can
do whatever he wants.
Yes, when he's out there, he literally did what he wanted, especially against Chet Holmgren.
Yes,
in that semifinal game. But so it's the stretch
it's gonna be tough, man. But I did want to quickly make sure I give a shout out to Trey Johnson and Will Riley. We continue. Let me start with Will first. We've seen steady progression from Will, and a lot of people keep forgetting he was the other first-round pick. This was a first-round talent, and even though he came off the bench in college, he was still seen really as someone with a lot of potential, and we're starting to see that. Like he's getting a little consistent. What it is really interesting about him is his comfort in getting to his own spots. As a rookie, he still has he has spots. He knows, okay, I like this, like getting down on the post a little bit, because that's when I can use my size a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? He has an eye for cutters, has a really sharp vision on the court. I think there's a lot of potential for Will. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Will is slowly rising up to being another one of our priorities in terms of the young boys. You know what I'm saying? Like someone who maybe we got 2 wings. Maybe we got, our Tatum and Jalen in Keyshawn and Will. Who knows? 2 taller wings who can do it all, a little bit of everything. So I'm liking Will Riley. I feel like he has a lot of potential. Let's get him more and more minutes. Let's get this competition going, because we need it. The more competition, the better. And as for Trey, he's back finally. Last 2 games, first one he was warming up. I think he's still on a minutes restriction too. Trey has so much potential in terms of his ability to put the ball in the hoop as a shooter. And I also want to see more. You know what I'm saying? I want to see more from him in terms of once he gets his legs back under him, some more consistency so that we can start to rely on him. And to see, like I've been calling for it, like everyone else is calling for it. Can we not just have him just be a shooter in the corner? Like, can we get a set for Trey? Can we set something up? Can we get some movement into his game a little bit? Because I really feel like he's more than just a jump shooter. He was way more than that in college. And to just regulate him to that, I think that's a mistake because he has potential for so much more. So yeah, that's where I'm at with those two. We got to get them more minutes. Yeah, I know that I say that about everybody, but everybody needs more minutes, and we got to start embracing that because we can't afford to put a ceiling on these guys' development.
I'm with you. I'm glad that Will Riley got some extended minutes and actually showed that he can at least play basketball in this league.
Yeah,
Him sitting on the bench and having spot duties in G League. Yeah, that was a little disheartening for a first round pick. I don't care that he was the second of the first round picks. Still was a little disheartening to see that. So I'm happy for him. Bub Carrington, as of late, looks like he's been progressing or trending in the right direction. Do you think that this progress is going to be a long-standing or let me just say, do you think this progress is going to be something that you will see natural progression and he'll get better, or is this just a anomaly in his game?
I think he's definitely going to get better. I'm hoping and praying for that. Now, he had a rough stretch, but I do think it's been exaggerated. He had a really good first year, in terms of being a rookie. Took some steps back, but I think that came in coordination with him getting more on his plate and us force feeding him this point guard role, right? I think that threw off his game. That's my personal theory, that threw off his game where I can't settle into what I was good at, which is sort of this pop and shoot, right there at the elbow kind of a mid-range game, but instead I got to add more. And maybe he wasn't ready. Maybe he'll never be ready. I'm still not sold on him as a point guard, but someone committed to the role can get some real assists. And he's been showing up these last few games. That first 20 was rough, but now he's starting to settle into getting that balance between I can take my shot and I can look out for others. Defense is still lacking. Defense is still, not where it's supposed to be, but I'm seeing an upward trajectory, and a lot of people gave up on Bub from the beginning. Now, I'll admit I did want him benched, and that's what had to happen. But we're starting to see he's fighting for his job. And it doesn't make sense to give up on a second-year player in the first quarter of his second season. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And it's not like he was showing horrible signs. He was just off. It's not like he couldn't play basketball. He was just off. So I still feel like there's an upward trajectory for Bub. His ceiling is a little lower, starting to get a little lower in my mind. I'm thinking like low end Kyle Lowry is where I could see someone like Bub. You know what I'm saying? In terms of production, in terms of impact on the game. So that has potential. If you surround him with good stars, probably never going to be an A player, but that has potential as Kyle was, a B or C player for that championship, and so there's still potential for Bub. Ceiling's a little lower, but he's still on the way up. And it's hard for me to believe to take you seriously if you feel like his story's done. He's like, he has no more potential. And I'm starting to hear that from some fans. Like, oh, y'all gotta relax. Let's take a breath. Bad team, still on its way up, still trying to figure stuff out. So yeah, that's where I'm at with Bub.
Right. Before we continue, before I just got a funny text message.
Now you gotta read it.
It's football related, so
okay.
Well,
There you go.
I'll just say, shout out to my man Randy Holcomb. He will be on this podcast in the future.
Yeah.
I will definitely have to get him on, but he sent me a text message that definitely made me chuckle. But just want to remind you all to like and subscribe to the podcast. If you watch
Yes.
on YouTube, like and subscribe so you can be up to date on all of our content when we post any of our recordings, any of our podcast episodes, or any of our
Yeah.
shorts. Make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also follow us on major social media platforms, and that
All of
includes
them.
Facebook, Threads, Twitter, or X,
Yep.
Instagram. Check that out.
Black Planet. Follow us on Black Planet. I'm about to get us, you know what I'm saying? Get an account on there. Follow us on there, y'all.
Yep. Now, since these specific players, CJ McCollum and Chris Middleton, started to play a little better, especially CJ McCollum, there's now the mainstream national media is asking these questions about when they may possibly be traded. And then that brought us to other conversations about trade rumors. Wanza, what are some trade rumors that you're hearing about?
Man, there are so many that are being quote unquote reported. And I mean that, I say it like that because not everyone who's like, building on these rumors are credible people. But we've heard stuff about Sabonis, like that's a real thing that people are saying could happen. Seriously doubt it. But Garland, people are saying Darius Garland could be somebody, but the packages I've seen for him are crazy. It was one Wizards fan put up, because he's a big Garland fan, said, all we gotta do is if we trade Bilal and Bub and a first and 3 seconds, and it's just like, well, wait a second, slow down, hold on. That's getting a little steep. I'm a Darius fan for sure, Garland fan. And he'd be a great piece. But the same question I have with him is the same question I have with Sabonis and even like a week or two back, Chris Paul, which I was actually a fan of for that signing. But like, even though he would be a signing, not a trade, are we at the point where we need to start bringing in, people who we're gonna have to pay legit money to and don't plan on trading again? Like a CJ, and Middleton just here for a second. Are we ready to start gathering legit pieces to fill in this roster and to make some noise? I'm not sure yet. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's why I'm doubting all of these. None of them make any sense to me in terms of the plan. Now, we're going into year 4 after this of a rebuild. And the question is, do we still have the patience for this amount of losing? That's the real question. Do we still have the patience for this amount of losing? And I don't want to. Like, I don't want, like, we got to start turning this around. But does this mean, because if you're jumping out for a Garland or a Sabonis or something, that says to me we're looking for the final pieces to round out a roster. Are we there yet? I'm not convinced. Maybe I'll say something different in June, but I'm not really convinced if those are the types of players we should be looking for. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. The Eastern Conference is now run by the Knicks with Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns. The Celtics, if Jason Tatum was healthy, but the Celtics with Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. Giannis is still in the East. I know he's out right now, but
yeah,
he's a big guy, one of the big guys. And, the Miami Heat are always in the mix. That's why I think this is the time to develop the young guys. So when these guys are not in their prime anymore, that you now step up and you take over the East.
Yeah.
Bringing in someone like Garland just gets us to mediocre. And I'm not really sold on Garland either. Garland's injury prone. He's small. And okay, so he's this scoring type guard, and like, okay, cool, but How does that really help us in the long run? And
Right.
who are we giving up at this point for Garland?
Yeah.
I am doing a little on the run some trade machine stuff to
That's
see what
yeah.
is out there when it comes to potential trades. I know sometimes
Yeah.
they would do stuff like that.
Yeah. No, as you look at that, just let me know when you're ready. Like it's just it feels like it's rushing. It feels like we're skipping steps. I want to get good as soon as possible, but we still don't know which one of these players that we have are the expendable ones. Because the reality is, and I put this out on a tweet. Make sure y'all follow us, the Wizards Pulse. We don't know which one of these young boys are gonna make it to the promised land with us, because they're not all gonna make it. Nobody gets there with all 5, 6 of your draft, your top draft picks. It's not gonna happen. So one or two of them are likely not gonna be on the roster, and I don't know. I'm not certain which ones those gonna be. I could just throw out, I could say Bub, I could say whoever, but I'm not certain which one of those are gonna be. So that means we can't be certain, in my opinion, on who it is we want to trade. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. What are the trade folks saying, man?
I would have to do some deep dive, and maybe in the next episode we could definitely get some actual concrete ones from the trade machines. But yeah, Darius Garland, no. Sabonis interests me. Because we know that he is an all NBA caliber player. And he's an all-star player. He is a little on the smaller side when it comes to center, and he plays the center position. And my concern is then our front court is going to be a somewhat small in weight or stature. With Alex Sarr, literally, he's listed at 205.
Yeah.
Sorry, he is 6'11", but he's listed at 205. And with that, I would love to keep him as a power forward, and then keep Sabonis as if possible. But then same thing. Who are we giving up now?
A lot.
Now, if the Kings just want to have some expiring contracts,
oh well, yeah,
and they want Middleton and CJ or a combination of them and somebody, okay, maybe we can think about that. He may be someone that I'm interested in. But Zion Williamson, no, hard pass.
No, absolutely not.
I don't want him at all.
Absolutely not.
I don't want him at all. He's never healthy when it really matters. And yeah, I mean that's really the key. Just never really healthy.
That's the biggest thing.
He still has not played a single playoff game.
Yeah.
And mind you, his franchise has been in the playoffs recently.
Exactly. And I think that speaks a little bit to his on-court influence, or his on-court sort of like his influence on the game, because he can put up numbers. He's a good player. Does he lead your team to wins? I haven't seen it. And also, he's typically, on the bench with his leg up. Like, he doesn't play. What's the point of putting any time or energy into this guy? I don't see the benefit with us short term or long term. If you want to, like, if you're planning to flip him, I get it, but I feel like he would have so much money on the books for that year or two as he gets healthy. Is that worth it? Taking up that kind of space? I don't know if he'd even be the right fit in the locker room. It's too many red flags with me with Zion. I think I'm good on that one. No, thank you.
Now, I know with Zion, his contract is no longer guaranteed, meaning before the start of the NBA season, a team can just release him without owing him money for the next season.
Okay.
Now, what I don't know, now I have to ask the people that I trust that understand the NBA CBA. I don't know if when a player is traded, if somehow there's some magical clause in there that says, well, now the contract's guaranteed. And look, I don't know. That's why I'm asking. I would have to ask them to see what it is.
Sure
but
either.
as of now, the contract is specifically the Pelicans, if they do not want him anymore after this season. I believe it's before July 1st. They could designate him as someone that they're going to cut. They'll cut, and they don't owe him for then that upcoming season. And that was due to him not reaching the the milestones needed.
Smart contract.
In his contract, the weight, the games played, and the actual performance and things like that. You also mentioned on the rundown, there's I see you have CP. Is that CP3 that you're thinking about?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So CP3 is I guess free agent right now. But is Chris Paul someone that you would like to bring into this locker room right now?
Now, I recognize this is a little controversial compared to what most folks are saying, but hear me out. As I mentioned briefly at the end of last episode, yes is the answer. Now, it just came out. The Clippers really did not like him. You know what I'm saying? They said he had a holiday, like a Halloween party, and none of the players showed up. And I hear that and I get that. You know what I'm saying? Because that speaks bad on you. But he's been places where reports came out that, no one said they hated him. He was just in San Antonio helping tutor
Stephon Castle
and Wemby.
And Wemby.
You know what I'm saying? He was only there for a second, but nothing bad came out. That's a strong organization. They wouldn't have stood for anything like that. He's been other places where it hasn't been like that. So even in Houston, like it was still, you know what I'm saying? I didn't hear that kind of rumor. I heard he's hard to play with, but the benefits to me outweigh the negatives. Benefit number one, let's say he's too old, too injured, doesn't play. Off the court, CP is adding one, toughness. No one's ever called him a pushover. Maybe a little bit of a jerk, but this team can use some jerks. I still think we're too soft overall. And that's just the young vibe, but you need vets in there to teach them, hey, don't let somebody talk to you like that. Be a little crafty. Get up in them when you're playing some defense. So off the court, mentoring, if we can get a real point guard in here, like being able to mentor a point guard, he'd be great just for the mentality, for some leadership off the court. I think that's huge. Let's say he's healthy enough to play. Who on our team would be better? Like we're at a place where 40-year-old CP would easily be our second best player on this team. You know what I'm saying? Especially at the point guard position. If we said, hey, don't even worry about putting up points, just get our boys open, you would see the growth of these players go to a whole different level. I'm telling you, that's what Keyshawn is waiting for. Keyshawn wants to go Super Saiyan so bad, and he can't because he's surrounded with folks who don't know how to get him there. You get someone like CP on this team. You get someone like CP for Alex, for Sarr. He's dropping 30 and 15. It's gonna be a given. So I think on the court, it would be great too. So I'm a fan of that. Not a huge fan of the guy, but I'm not. Listen, we don't got to be friends, Chris. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? Come here and ride out into the sunset. Yes, it's a random team, but now you'll have an impact that will last long after you leave. Now you'll have legacy. You can be like, listen, I raised those Wizards boys. That's how they got a couple of rings, because I helped set the foundation. You know what I'm saying? So I'm all about the CP thing, man.
I'm not against bringing CP in as a free agent with everything that you just said. And also, I think it was a little odd that in his second stint with the Clippers that you were hearing these things about Chris Paul. But as we see, it's a different head coach. It's not Doc Rivers anymore. Right. It's Tyronn Lue. And he has his own staff that he has brought in. But it's like, it's still Steve Ballmer, the owner. And an owner who I guess publicly seems hands-on. But and it's the same front office, Lawrence Frank. I guess his title is general manager, but it may be just president of basketball operations. He's the one that's responsible for drafting, trading, the signings, everything.
He should go.
I just find it interesting that they couldn't coexist for CP3's second stint
Final
with the
season.
Clippers.
His
It's
final
just
one.
Yeah, it's just real interesting. I think egos got involved, and I do think the biggest ego in this situation might have been Tyronn Lue and Jeff Van Gundy, one of the assistant coaches.
Yeah.
Because it's reported that that Kawhi Leonard and others mentioned that, hey, we were making these, or that Chris Paul suggested these things, and Jeff Van Gundy reportedly said that, hey, you don't have the cachet, Chris Paul, of all people, Chris Paul, to even do that in our system. So, that was bad. And then, like you mentioned, it seems like he wasn't getting along with players off the court, or at least off the court. They weren't supporting him in different things, especially with the Halloween party that he had at his home, and the Halloween party that he had at SoFi Stadium after a Chargers game that was, I believe, on Halloween weekend.
Dang.
So yeah, that's stuff I don't care about. Hey man, can you come here and help our young boys?
That's it.
Can you do that? Because to be honest, he would probably still be the best point guard on this Washington Wizards team.
Definitely.
We've said it for 6 episodes, now 7. The Wizards do not have a point guard, so he would be better. I have no problem with that.
Yeah,
I have no problem with that, especially at the vet. I mean, he's going to get vet minimum wherever he's going.
Right.
So
and he knows that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He wants to end on a good note. He wants to end on a team. That's what he wants. You know what I'm saying?
Not being told, hey, go home.
Exactly. And there aren't, I don't believe, any ring chasing teams that are willing to that need him that desperately. So you got to adjust your expectation, man. Washington's here, bro. Just come on through. We'll get you a jersey. We're going to send you out right. Get you a highlight or two, maybe, just come on through. Now, I do think one thing that might be relevant is CP's style probably does not work in a room full of vets that are his peers. There's a bunch of Hall of Famers on that Clippers team, and they might not really be open to hearing that. But you come to DC, you talking to a bunch of 20-year-olds who you can condescend to, and it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Because they can't say much, and maybe it could work. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Now, this is all.
Who are they to complain to the front office? Hey, man, Chris Paul was come on.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Now, part of this makes me wonder in terms of the drama in LA Clippers, man, when it gets this personal, 90% of the time, there's a woman involved. Now, I don't know anything. I'm just saying more often than not, all this adrenaline, all this testosterone, man. Listen, there's little rumors floating around. I don't know. Maybe CP got a little careless. Maybe he did something on purpose. Maybe it was just the assumption that he said something or did something slick. I don't know. But it feels a little personal the way they got rid of him. That's all I'm going to say.
Now, this question, I would definitely say it is what we call a clickbaiting question here.
Yeah.
But what would you trade, or who would you trade when it comes to Wemby for Washington Wizards? Now that sounds crazy to even throw that out there, that the Washington Wizards would reach out to the San Antonio Spurs and say, hey, we have guys for you. What would it take? But let's just say in this fictitious world, because in the real world, we saw Luka Doncic get traded for who he got traded for. In this universe, NBA universe, as a Washington Wizards fan, Wanza, who and what are you willing to give up for Wemby?
I think we're asking the wrong question. Who wouldn't I give up for Wemby?
Okay, all right.
Is the question.
So then let's start with who you will not give up.
That's the harder question for me. Listen, I like so many of our young boys. However, I'm hoping with them, I see Wemby before my eyes. And even with a slight injury history, he is magic on the court. I've seen him do stuff that make no logical sense. You know what I'm saying? And my personal favorite, as I alluded to earlier, he got a little edge to him. You saw how he was trying to, talk to these OKC boys. These are the reigning champs. And he was like, man, I don't know if bro was built for the big moments. You know what I'm saying? Like, he came out here swinging. And I love trash talkers who back it up. You got to back it up. That's important. He didn't let Draymond get away with it a few weeks ago. Personally hate Draymond, so I'm down for anybody who's standing up to him. So I would love that attitude, love his ceiling. He can get any award he wants right now. I haven't seen a player like that. So to answer the question, every single person goes except for Anthony Gill. Let me keep Gill. I need Gill as the super vet. That's who I need. I need a vet I can count on, who 2 administrations have said you belong on this team, and even if you don't belong on the court, I'm gonna trust them, and I'm keeping Gill there. Someone gotta hold the clipboard. Somebody gotta pat him on the back when he's having a rough game. Give me Gill, give me Wemby, and give me some fillers. And I don't know. I think that's a good team. I'm sorry. Wemby's nice, man.
Let me just say this. I don't think in this NBA universe that the San Antonio Spurs would do this. But for entertainment purposes,
yes.
The only person that I am not willing to give up is Alex Sarr. I would love to see Alex Sarr and Wemby together.
That'd be
and
crazy.
Then let's figure the rest out.
That's
what it is for me.
Yeah.
That's the one person I'm beating on the table.
Yeah.
No.
Can't do it.
You ain't taking Alex Sarr. You want the next consecutive or the next every other first round pick for the next 10 to 15 years. Okay, there you go. And we'll throw in Trey, we'll throw in Bub, we'll throw in this expiring CJ, and look, it sounds crazy. We sound like Los Angeles Laker fans coming up with these terrible trades to get the world given to them. But hey, we can only dream. We can only.
That's all we're doing. But it just shows how nice he is, man. He stays on the court. The league is his. I've seen enough. You know what I'm saying? He's not nice yet. Like, he's still warming up and already having this impact, man. So, but yeah, just a little fun talk. You never know what life holds, but probably doesn't hold this. And so we can always just hypothesize and romanticize and dream a little bit about it, man.
Yep. Before we get out of here, the Emirates NBA Cup. This is the 3rd year of the in-season tournament. Real quick, do you like the in-season tournament?
I am slowly coming around. Slowly. Now, when I say coming around, it's still not special. It's still not like appointment watching for me. But I will say I had a little interest in the championship game. The games leading up, it all feels the same. It doesn't make a difference. The championship had me like, oh, is that an 8? Okay, let me go ahead and see if I can make some time for that. I still hate the courts. They do too much for me. It's a lot of colors going on. I heard the players talking about how they're little slippery.
Yeah, the decals on the floor, yeah.
Yeah, it still feels desperate in terms of Adam Silver trying to do something. I think it has potential to become mildly interesting. But, the bar is low because this point in the season was super slow. So if you give me something that's a little random, it's better than nothing. And, it's probably going to it's going to get more ratings than the All-Star game in a second at the way that they're going. So I'm fine with it at this point. We'll see. Just don't get gimmicky on me. That's all I ask. Yeah. We're pushing that.
I'm not against the in-season tournament. There was some excitement when they started in the quarterfinals round, and then obviously the semifinals, which you had a great game between the Spurs and the Thunder, where Spurs give the Thunder their second loss of the year.
Yeah.
And then you have a good game last night with the New York Knicks and the Spurs, where the Knicks came out victorious in the fourth quarter. The Knicks have come out and said, hey, we're not going to raise a banner for this, yada, yada, yada. Look, man, it doesn't bother me. International sports, they have these in-season tournaments that matter to their team. I think it's just the American model of sports is why we as fans don't like it. But internationally, we see this all the time in basketball and in soccer, where you have these in-season club tournaments going on that are, and sometimes even in soccer, some of the tournaments are done domestically and continentally, where the English Premier League season's going on, but then there's 2 or 3 teams in that English Premier League that's playing in the UEFA UEFA Cup or the club, whatever it's called. So I think we just got to get used to it as fans, that they have this. It's not the NBA Finals, but hey, it is something that you could strive for. There's an incentive too. There's some money. And let's be real, in college sports, we don't tell the team that wins the Bahamas Classic that, hey, you shouldn't care about winning that. Like, hey, you won. Like there were probably 4 to 8 teams here and you won. We don't tell people who won the Maui Invitational, oh, shouldn't care about that because it's not the NCAA tournament. Like, I think we should probably get to a point like that where, hey, it is something we look forward to, winning. At least it's something, It's not the NBA Finals, but it is something.
It's something. And just real quick, I heard an interesting theory. It was a writer, maybe Simmons or Bontemps or somebody, where it said what we should do is hang a banner that has a star on it for every in-season tournament that your team has won. So it's not a banner for every in-season tournament championship, but a banner that has a star on it for every one that you've won. And I was like, that makes a little sense, because it's not like, okay, these aren't, these aren't rings, right? But it's a little something that we did. So, part of this is figuring out, the NBA is trying to help us figure out, what does this in-season tournament mean? Like, how do we address it? What level of energy do we give it? It's weird to have a place that's not playoffs, but is not preseason and not regular season. Like, we've never had that in American sports, like you were saying. So it's hard to figure out where to place it, where it's like, okay, it's a little interesting. It means something, but it doesn't mean everything. And that's part of the confusion. But the players, like you said, just comes down to money. Even losers get some bread. So, they stash that away for another car. So it's a win for them.
Yep. Now, talking about Adam Silver, I think I'm going to defend him for a little bit.
Okay.
I think he gets unfairly blamed for this, and really we should be blaming the players of this generation and the older players of this generation. Specifically players like LeBron James. And I'm doing this because LeBron James, being who he is and being in situations where we've seen lack of competition, like the slam dunk contest, there was an era where the best players that can actually dunk pretty well participated in it.
They wanted to.
They wanted to, and if they won, they won, and if they lost, they lost. And sometimes they lost and then they came back, and participated until they won, and things like that. And I feel like something as simple, and I know the LeBron James fans always try to say, well, what's the big deal? Like, I think when LeBron did not participate in a lot of things at the All-Star weekend outside of the game itself, I think it made the younger generation also feel like they can do the same thing. And we've gotten to the point that All-Star weekend is a joke. The slam dunk contest is awful. We see on social media how regular people are doing better dunks than actual NBA players. I think people are scared of competition, and I think it's also the same thing when it comes to just like the regular season. These guys, I don't want to take money away from players, especially players that look like us, knowing what we go through in the United States. But we have to tell the truth that a lot of players in the NBA get paid so much money that what is the incentive in playing games?
That's fair.
What is the incentive of playing or striving for 82? We know, okay, you're gonna get injuries.
Right.
We know that you're gonna get these nicks where you got to sit out a game or two. But I really do feel, and this may be we're maybe old curmudgeons, but I really do feel a lot of these players, any sort of discomfort, they're just not playing. They're just not doing it because it's like, well, I already get this money. You know, you have a guy like Zion Williamson, who, if it wasn't for this, incentive or this language in his contract, this man, excuse me, will probably be getting, I think, what is it, like close to 40 million a year?
Yeah.
And he has done nothing in the grand scheme, but because he's on he's on his rookie max extension.
Yeah.
And he, did the bare minimum to get it. He's now qualified for like 30% of the team's cap. And it's like, man, like, you get that much money. It's like, well, what is my incentive to play harder? I didn't even play hard and I got this. Michael Porter Jr., you missed a whole year due to a back injury.
Yeah.
You then come and you're like the fourth, fifth offensive option sometimes. You're inconsistent and you get a rookie max extension, 5 years, $212 million. What is the incentive? So I think, Adam Silver's just trying to do something to figure this out. Like, us as fans, we can come up with all sorts of things, but the players are just like, oh, whatever. We now have and I'm in agreement of this, how the minimum games played to qualify for a league award is 65 games.
Yeah.
And you got star players now just like, I'm going to sit out. I'm going to sit out this game. I'm going to sit out that game. And then when a real injury comes and you're out for 3 weeks, you're like, oh, I'm getting close to that 65 game. And it's like, oh, now I'm about to miss out on all NBA. And then they're sitting there tweeting, talking about, man, I'm getting screwed by the league and the CBA. No. How about don't take these random days off when nothing's wrong with you?
Exactly.
Or you're like Tyrese Halliburton talking about, oh, I got to at least get out there. Because that's what happened 2 years ago. Tyrese Halliburton just felt like I had to get out there so I could qualify for this because, and you could tell he was not healthy.
Yeah.
You could tell there were games he was just out there going through the motions, and but it was to get his money. So,
the incentive.
So I'm gonna defend Adam Silver on this and put this more on the players and the amount of money that they do make. And look, if ownership can pay this amount of money to players, because it's a 50-50 revenue split, just think about the money that the owners get out of this too. So like, it is what it is, but it's just like, man, like at some point we just need a generation of guys. Maybe we need a generation of Wemby or a generation of like Ant-Man who like really love competition.
Right.
And they're like, and we got to show, let's bring competition back so these things can actually matter.
That's what it is. You've heard people clamoring for a 1-on-1, maybe 2-on-2 competition and it's never gonna happen because these guys are scared. It's a softer generation, and you're 100% right about LeBron. What I think he did, he made it so that it's not cool. Like he made the All-Star game sort of take a hit in terms of importance, where he was just like, why am I not the All-Star game, All-Star weekend? Why am I in the dunk contest? Like, I'm better than this. And so now we go all the way down to what's your boy in Memphis?
John Morant.
John Morant, laughed when they brought up the dunk contest. You know what I'm saying? This is the kind of thing that could have rehabilitated his career.
Exactly.
And his image.
Exactly.
If he went out there and showed out. But now we got, 5'10" Matt McClung out here
They just
barely
throwing out every year, man. Just like
winning
forcing
3-4
them.
times in a row. Like you were saying, there's a whole dunk show on ESPN with Shaq. Forgot what it's called, dunk something.
Where
Where
they just
it's random guys doing insane types of dunks. So without realizing it, they're already preemptively watering down the All-Star weekend. So I'm hype about, and we'll talk more about this when it comes up, the international, US versus international. I think that's interesting in terms of the game itself. But the other activities that used to overshadow the game sometime, the dunk contest, 3-point contest, used to be the marquee events. Now it's just people just waiting to fast forward. I only saw highlights last year. I was like, what's the point?
I haven't watched an NBA slam dunk contest in years. And even the 3-point shootout the last few years, I've definitely just went on YouTube to figure out the rest of it. Like I'm not doing this. Not doing it anymore. And even in the All-Star game. I haven't watched in that. I tried to watch last year with these teams and where they separated, and I thought it was a good concept, but once again, the players just didn't perform.
Don't care.
They just didn't perform.
Don't care.
Yeah. Before we get out of here, just want to remind you all to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. So you're up to date on all of our video content, whether it is a podcast episode or a clip or a short. Also, make sure you follow us on all major social media platforms, including Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and X at the Wizards Pulse. And if you ever want to be on the show, make sure you call our Wizards Pulse podcast hotline 202-734-5293. That's 202-734-5293. Wanza, any last words before we get out of here?
Man, hype about these 4 wins. Let's double that, then shut it down. That's what I'm about. Let's get to 8 and slow it down. Then I can celebrate for real, man. That's where I'm at.
All right. Thank you, Wanza, for everything that you do. Until next time, Wizards Pulse Podcast. Peace.
We're soaring high like sparrows in the air. Gee whiz is dancing. We don't have a care from downtown Thunder to the paint they light. The Washington Wizards, we beam with pride.